What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dad's Expensive Hobby.
What's up?
Today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends, the Fantastic Four First Steps Human Torch. I finally got him in the mail, so you know I'm going to do a review on him. He looks pretty decent, but we're going to dive right into him here in just a second. Same exact packaging as all the other ones with the white with the blue trimming, basically. Nice window on the front. Image kind of probably from the movie, just like the other ones on the side, and the exact same freaking thing on the back. But anyways, enough about the package. Let's get him out of the package and take a closer look at him. All right, the concluding chapter to the Fantastic Four wave, we have it finally in hand. To the top of his flame head here, he is right at 6.5 inches tall, which would make the whole figure almost 17 centimeters. That flame effect kind of made him a little bit taller, but just at a glance, I'm 99.99% sure he is just that Johnny Storm body with just different plastic, and then this little flame effect for his hair. Let's look at his aesthetic. Like I said, he is the same as the Johnny Storm figure, just with this red, transparent, translucent, however you want to define it, plastic. Doesn't look too bad. I was worried that he would end up looking kind of like a piece of like red hot candy or cinnamon candy or something. He really doesn't. It does look a little unfinished. Not that I really know what they would kind of do to remove the kind of glossy candy look to him, but they kind of avoided it all at the same time, so it looks pretty good. These flame effects on him do look good. They do look good. They are soft, translucent plastic, like orangish yellow that fade into darker orange and red. I don't necessarily like the placement of it right here on the back of his head, because anybody that's handled an action figure before knows that will impede his articulation, but we'll talk about that more here in a minute. The face looks pretty cool with like the yellow eyes. The face looks pretty decent. I actually like this face better than I did the one for the Johnny Storm figure. Now he does have like some black, almost like wash type of panel lining going on in the details of the suit on his chest and on his shoulders to give it a little bit of depth, and I do like that. And it's on his thighs, at least on the front of his thighs, down here. So that looks pretty decent. That's given us a little bit of differentiation, and the four is now black versus white on the other version. He's got some of these flame effects on his forearms and hands. They are attached at the hands, but they are floaty on both of the arms. But they look pretty good. Same concept down here for the feet. Around the shins and heels, it is just floaty. If you were to pop his feet off, you could take it off, just like if you popped his hands off, you could probably take those ones off on his wrists. But they are attached on the feet. And it looks pretty good. These down here on the shins and feet look a little different than the ones on the forearms and the head. They don't have any of that like dark orange to red kind of fade in them. I don't know if that's like he gets hotter as he gets up more towards his head or what, but it doesn't bother me. I just kind of wanted to point it out. But other than that, I mean, he looks all right. Still doesn't look like a superhero, but like this, it actually is a little more appealing visually. Let's look at his accessories, because he really don't come with shit whatsoever. He's got this one head sculpt here on him in the package, and it looks good enough. And he comes with 4 hands. He's got these 2 fist hands with the flame effects attached to them. Looks pretty decent. Lay down. And he has 2 of these wide open hands like for when he's flying, and it has these 2 flame effects attached to the hands, and they look pretty cool, I suppose. Nothing like super special, but they do look good. And that is it. We don't get anything else.
Why?
But that's probably because most of the accessories, I guess you'd say, come attached to him. Because with these flame effects, they're attached to him, so that's probably why. I still think we should have gotten maybe a flight stand or something for him, because the Human Torch does fly. And I guess maybe we could have gotten like a fireball, like, you know, like he'd stuck his hand out and was shooting a fireball or something, like a flame effect of some sort that he, like an energy, you know what I'm talking about. But other than that, I mean, I can't really think of anything else that he could come with. Let's stand him next to the regular Johnny Storm, which I don't really like this figure, but this one isn't too bad. And like I said, they're the exact same figure, just in different colored plastics, and they look all right. If I can get Johnny Storm stand up. And here he is with his sister Sue Storm, and they look all right. Oopsie daisy, we'll just lean her over there. And here he is next to Mr. Fantastic Reed Richards, and they look all right, I suppose. And here he is next to the Silver Surfer. I don't know, the trailer's implied like there's going to be some sort of love interest. You see what I'm saying? She just looks so dull. I don't like that figure. Anyways, I'm going to quit crying. And here he is next to Ben Grimm. Be sure and stick around to the end of the video, because I'm going to like rate which one I think is the best and the worst and everything in between from this wave. And there's Ben Grimm. So there is all the Fantastic Four wave there in the background. Let's go over his articulation really super quick, because if you watched my Johnny Storm video, you know how this figure moves. But I really want to talk about the head, because he'll look down a little bit, and he can't look up nearly as good as he should, because like I said earlier in the video, this flame effect, I don't really like the placement or the way they shaped it, because it's blocking his head looking up, and this is a figure that needs to look up because he's supposed to be able to fly, you know. So they maybe could have split this effect and just put it on both shoulders or something, you know, something where it wasn't blocking the head so he could look up like somebody who flies. But, you know, I wasn't on the engineering team. They didn't call me this time. Joke. Anyways, very stiff, but shoulders go up just like Johnny's did, and it'll go in a full 360. No butterfly joint, bicep swivel that bicep swivels, double jointed elbow, tons of room. I don't really like the look of it, and the wrists are on a hinge. Just like all of them, he has a diaphragm brake. There is neutral. Won't literally lean forward at all, but it will lean back halfway decent, and that ball peg or double ball peg, whichever it is, will allow him to move around pretty well. He's got a waist twist that I don't like, but I'm going to quit being negative. He'll do a pretty good split, just like the Johnny Storm figure, because they're the exact same thing. And not much of a front kick, that kind of sucks. And he doesn't really have much of a butt, but there's enough to keep the leg from kicking back. He does a thigh swivel that thigh swivels. Double jointed knee, pretty good range, and the proportions are pretty good. No shin swivel. Ankle is a hinge all the way down, most of all the way up. And it's got an ankle rocker, peg holes in the bottom of the feet, and no toe hinge. So for this figure in this wave, I mean, this is still a pretty average figure, but it does look cool. Like, this will stand out in a display you have, no matter really what you've got going on, because it's just, you know, it's a red translucent kind of figure with freaking pretty decently well done flame effects on it. So it's going to stand out. Is it my favorite of this wave? No, it's not. Is it the worst one? No, it's pretty decent. But real quick, so I'll go ahead and give him a rating. I'll give the Human Torch here a C+. He's a little above average because he looks pretty cool, and those flame effects aren't too shabby. They look pretty decent. Now, real quick, I'll just rate the figures as far as, you know, what I think is, we'll go from worst to best. Bringing in the blue ribbon loser spot has got to be Johnny Storm here, because I don't like this, even though the head sculpt is done well as far as the paint, I don't think it looks like the actor, and this hair paint looks like total shit.
Fuck.
So Johnny Storm is the number 5. I'm going to say Sue Storm, or number 6, excuse me. Sue Storm brings up the 5 spot, because her accessories weren't done real well, and her paint really sucked. There's a lot of crappy paint spots on this figure. Head sculpt done really well, and the shape of the body for the most part is probably not as frumpy as the two men, but her paint really sucks. So she is in the 5 spot. That would leave the 4 spot to the Silver Surfer here. I complained the most about this figure for sure. As far as the figure, I'd probably like it the least, but she had the most awesome accessory, so she can have the 4 spot. The number 3 spot is going to have to go to Reed Richards here, Mr. Fantastic. And that's just honestly because this figure pissed me off the least of the other figures. He's not fantastic, unfortunately, but that's a pretty darn good Pedro Pascal head sculpt, and his little stretchy arms, they're cool, I suppose. But he had decent paint, and he's got a good Pedro Pascal head sculpt. The number 2 spot is going to have to go to Human Torch here, just because of his shelf appeal. He will look good in a display that you have for sure. There is not anything special about the figure itself, definitely not about his accessories, but the figure is pretty good as far as looks. It looks pretty cool. And the number 1 for this wave is definitely the Thing, Ben Grimm here. This figure has some nice paint on it in the rock parts of the body to make it look good. I like its articulation the best of all of them. And just overall, he looks cool, and he is a hefty figure. He didn't come with much either, but none of them really did besides the Silver Surfer, and they gave us a really trash figure to go with a really cool accessory. But he's a pretty darn good figure. His accessories didn't suck. It was just he didn't come with anything. But then again, he's the Thing, and the Thing doesn't really have much other than he just looks like a big rock man. But anyways, that is all I have got for the Human Torch, and that is all I've got for this wave of the Fantastic Four First Steps. If you have not subscribed, pause the video, scroll down, give us a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And with all that said, this has been Dad with Dad's Expensive Hobby, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.